let's talk a little bit about the sleepover. Do you allow your kids to go to sleepovers, or do you ban them altogether?
So I am absolutely gung-ho about sleepovers. You know, my daughter had her first sleepover at 6. If I've met the parents and she's friends with someone, I say, here's a cell phone, you know our phone number, if there's a problem, call me immediately.
Our children are allowed to go to sleepovers and have children sleepover when they're 10 years old. We just figured it's a good round number. Everybody has control of their, bladder, and, they can talk and all that kind of stuff that little kids can't do.
We have a pretty tight circle of close friends that we stick to. Now that the kids are getting older, we're getting more invitations for sleeping over, and I'm not really excited about opening that circle up.
My daughter had her first sleepover at the age of 6 with my, at the time, Girl Scout co-leader. I felt comfortable because obviously she was background checked, so was I, and we had volunteered together for at least 8 months.
We wouldn't let him go to a sleepover at just anyone's house. We want to make sure that the family that he's sleeping over at, or that we're having a kid over, there's mutual understanding. So it has to be somebody that we know. He can't just randomly come home and say, oh, there's this kid, Joe, that I'd like to sleep over at.
I trust my instinct. I've had a few people say you need to trust others and you need to trust your children, but I don't agree with that.
I trust my judgment, and I trust my daughter's judgment, and I believe sleepovers are on a case-by-case basis.
So Kristen Howerton of Rage Against the Minivan made a comment. She and her husband are therapists, and she said, no one has come to me seeking therapy for not being allowed to go to a sleepover.
I don't want myself as a parent to be afraid of what-if scenarios, because I think when you watch the news, when you watch or you read the newspaper, it's terrifying to be a parent, but statistically, there's not that much danger there.
When I was young, I was exposed to a horror movie, Firestarter, and I think I was 9, 10, somewhere in there, and I freaked out because I still to this day can't handle horror movies, and I ended up spending that whole time in the girls' room by myself. And gosh, I don't want to put my kids through that.
Anything can happen to any of us at one moment in time, but I'm not going to be scared into keeping her inside and having a watchful eye on her all the time, because quite frankly, I'm exhausted and I don't have the time.
The added noise, the added food intake, the added wrestling, the added potential for someone to jump off of a bureau and break their toe. Because yes, it happens, so those are all my kind of fears.
I just think we really need to think about what the potential is and really think about where our kids are spending the night.